This is Kid Kakashi. Duh. For those of you who may not know, my goal is to turn this into this. Okay, well, maybe not that. If you watched last week's episode, I kind of went over a recap of everything, how I made Kid Kakashi, my story with starting with Blender, all that stuff. And so in this week's episode, we're going to be focusing on the rigging, and I'm sure this will be an extremely peaceful process. Alright, it's not all smooth sailing, but go ahead, buckle up for the ride, because I'm going to show you how I took issues like that and easily fixed it like this. See? It's totally fine. So the initial plan was actually to use a Rigify, but the problem I was having was if I go into pose mode, you see all these little colors and stuff. I need those pose bones essentially to be covering the shirt around his waist. And I don't know how to add bones with Rigify. Maybe there's a way, I don't know. I don't know how to do it. But the main thing that I want is I want to be able to grab a hold of the rig and have the body or certain parts of the body follow specific parts as I move them around. Like this, for example. Oh, hang on a minute. This is way too high res. Let me just turn off the multi-res modifier. In order for this to happen, I need control bones, like these ones, which usually control the eye. And for that, I needed my face to look like this, and mine looked like this. So we're just gonna go ahead and redo it. I just go ahead and re-rig all of Kid Kakashi here. So, fun fact I learned while I was doing this, if you move the parts of the bones and you hold control, it'll actually snap it to the skin surface. It's actually pretty handy when you're doing the face rig, because you kind of want those to be pretty close to the face. There's usually a lot of stuff going on there. But it will snap to any surface that does go over, so for this example, I had to hide the hair, and then I was able to get it to snap properly where I needed it. So, we're just going to go ahead and hit generate rig, and there we go. It's looking pretty good. All we got to do now is just parent it with automatic weights, and just go ahead and wait for it to, Alright, what we gotta do in these instances is just test the rig and just find out where the problem areas are so we can fix it. I just go through, do a little bit of weight painting, and then just test the rig a little bit more and see, you know, if any areas work just fine. I'm sure everything is working as intended. I hate it here. So we actually have an issue, and I mentioned this a little bit before, but I need the rig bones to cover the little brown thing right there, little jacket, and I don't know if it's even actually possible to do it. And it was at this point that I had realized I'm not gonna be able to use a Rigify for this. So what I had to do was I had to delete it and just go back to the normal armature style rig and just add in some bones to cover that little jacket around there, and then do some automatic weights and give it a test. I mean, it's working, but it's not really working the way I want it to. What I want it to do is where I can just grab one bone and move the whole foot, have the leg bend, and do everything I want it to do. And that is possible. I wasn't sure how exactly to do this, but it's called inverse kinematics, and I actually found a very useful video by Blendera here that I totally would recommend checking out, and it helped me a lot on how exactly to use the inverse kinematics, and I used it for my Kid Kakashi model here, and it worked really well. But while it was working really well for the legs, the video actually didn't really cover the arms, and when I tried the same method on the arms, so I actually found another video by Royal Skies here, and they were specifically going over the arms, and that kind of solved that issue there. But now, since I'm not using Rigify, I can get rid of most of the face bones and just keep the ones around the eyes. A pro tip for ya: if you select the bone in pose mode and then select the hair if you're using the curve method and make it a bone relative, the hair will follow. Now, the rig was working pretty well, but I did need to do some manual cleanup, so we're just gonna do some weight painting, so just nice and easy, just touch-ups on the weight paint. I'm sure everything will be totally fine. Nothing could go wrong here. Alright, ignoring that. I'm sure nothing else could absolutely... Wait. What the f... You know what? That's actually fine. That's fine. If I do a little bit of weight painting, I'm sure that'll fix it, and No. Okay, well, you know what? We're just gonna cheat the system then. If the inside of the mesh there wants to poke through, I'll just UV unwrap it. Honestly, I didn't even know that the inside of that wasn't cut the way it was supposed to be. But with this little loophole, I know, I know I tricked the Alright, bandages aren't following. That's cool. Whatever. I'll just give that a real quick fix, and we'll just go ahead and test that out here, and there we go. That seemingly fixed it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I spent the better part of 2 days just doing weight painting. Nothing was working, nothing wanted to act right. Every time I tried to fix it, it wasn't working, and I was about to lose it and just say screw everything. But right when it felt like I was about to throw in the towel, this sexy ass beast, this man, my guardian angel, get over here and kiss me on my mouth right now, you sexy man. I learned that you can parent the object with your armature with a empty group, and then add in a data transfer modifier, and the source is going to be the object underneath. In my case, it's the body. You check vertex data, click vertex groups. You may need to change with the mapping. I didn't have to, but doing that solved everything. This gorgeous bowlman's channel name is Contradiction Design. I can't tell you, I was looking through so many videos trying to find an answer to the issues that I was having, and this was the only one I found, and it saved everything. Though it does mean that I do need to do a little bit of manual weight painting on the little shirt. That's fine, let's hop over into weight paint mode and... Wait, what the hell is this? What? Okay, it's not letting me paint. What? Okay, let me just delete the armature and do it over again. I'm sure there was probably just a weird one-time glitch in it. You know what? Reload the save and do it over. And now, I'm sure this will fix it. Let me just add this in and let's go. Oh my god. Come on. If it's not one thing, it's another. I swear, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why it's doing this. This is the most aggravating thing I've ever had to deal with in my entire existence on Blender. Why can't anything work properly? Everything was fine, and now... Wait, what the hell is that? Huh. So anyways, as I was saying, just had to do real quick weight painting because I don't need full control over these. I just need a little bit of control over the waist shirt. But finally, with that out of the way, it's time to import our other models here. And why is it so small? And oh god, what's with the rig? Ugh! Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and delete that and import another one in. I'm sure it was just a one-time Well, here's some information if you didn't know. If you ever see little textures like this where it looks really weird, whenever you import a model in, you usually have to go and find the blend mode and use either the alpha clip, alpha hash, or you have to usually change this to something. In this instance, I think on most of this, I use alpha clip. I don't know what the difference is with these. Just change the blend mode, and you can try all of them and just see which one works best for you. But you gotta do that every time you import an outside model in, typically. And this is what it looks like when I took every piece that was on the mesh and just turned them all into the alpha clip. And we move Kakashi out of the way, and let's bring over Obito. Oh my god! So a little bit of explaining here. The rest of these meshes are actually going to be .mesh files, and .mesh does not work in Blender. However, there is an add-on that does work, but the issue is that this add-on here, it's the XNA LoRa. Here you can see what other files it'll help you get. There's XPS or .mesh, and it works really well, but when I updated to Blender 4.0, I believe I'm on 4.1 now, but when 4.0 came out, it seemingly broke the add-on and it wasn't working anymore. However, what I was able to do and what I found out was I have a previous version. I have a Blender 3.6 version on my computer. And so if you Google XNA LoRa Blender, you should see a GitHub link. It'll look something like this when you're on there. You can download it from there and it's pretty easy to install. But what I did was I have it installed on a Blender 3.6 version, which is separate from the 4.1 version that I've normally been using. And then in the 3.6 version here, I can actually just import Minato, and then I can just Control-C, I can tab over to the 4.1 version, and just Control V and a real quick copy and paste, and it brings it over, and everything works totally fine. So we're just gonna do the same for adult Obito here, and as you can see, the shirt is all kinds of jacked up, so just real quick, there we go. And now a question that's on my mind, and I'm sure it's on everybody's mind. If adult Kakashi is that tiny compared to the rest of these models that have been imported in, how big is the kid Kakashi model that I sculpted? Alright, full transparency for you all, it is Wednesday night, and I have spent all day with this model just trying to get the rigging to work, because for some reason it just wouldn't. I tried joining everything together, I didn't even know this would work, but I copied the rig from Kid Kakashi, deleted the unnecessary bones, and tried to parent it to the adult version. I tried taking the eye from adult Obito, but this model wasn't made for having round eyes, so I just said whatever. So I went ahead and tried to parent it with automatic weights. Yeah, upon testing it, none of it worked. Absolutely none of it worked. So I spent all day just messing with this. I tried deleting the mesh and adding it in again, and that didn't do anything. I tried deleting the rig entirely and re-rigging it from scratch. That didn't do anything. No matter how much weight painting I did, it just was not working. So I decided to say screw it, and I'm just going to use a mixture of sculpt mode and edit mode, and I'm going to close his eye because his eye is closed during this battle. He always fights with just one eye open, and we're going to get rid of that mouth. That mouth has been bugging me since I imported him in. That thing's gone. It's weird seeing his so defined lips like that. And while the original rig came in glitchy, it's because the model was made or rigged in something other than Blender. But the thing that I noticed was that the rig was controlling him the way I would want it to. Maybe more bones than were really needed, but it was still working. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep the rig he currently has as the adult Kakashi form. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to make Kakashi from scratch. But finally, we have the entire cast ready. It is good to go. I can start the actual I can finally start the process of animating this fight, and I'm out of rigging hell. I won't lie to you guys, this week was kind of tough. I really cut down a lot of what I had going on here, but I did so much weight painting. Just the Kid Kakashi and adult Kakashi version took up like 4 days of my week. So I hope to start making some pretty decent progress here now that that's pretty much out of the way finally. But anyways guys, I want to thank you all for watching. I'm DustyMill. Bye everybody.